Here with Washington State women's basketball head coach Kamie Ethridge. Coach, your team is back in Beasley Coliseum this weekend as you host the LA schools here in Pac-12 play. You start with the Trojans on Friday, and then you host the Bruins here on Sunday. So how's your team preparing for another week in the Pac-12 play?
Yeah, obviously had a tremendous road weekend and against Oregon State in Oregon, and got right back at it on Monday and shifted gears, obviously, to two teams that may be as hot as anyone in the country. Clearly, USC's up first, and they just knocked off the number 2 team in the country, and they look phenomenal. They are so good defensively. UCLA is playing again as good as anyone in the country. So really difficult weekend, but glad we have them at home.
We will open the floor for questions. We'll go ahead and start with Jamie Vinnick, CougFan.com. And if you do have any questions for Coach Ethridge, please raise your hand in the Zoom feature.
Coach, how's it going?
Good, Jamie.
It just seems like every year the Pac-12 slate never gets any less grueling. I mean, the Oregon road trip and now home for, UCLA, who's top 10, and USC, who just beat Stanford and is getting votes. I mean, how do you kind of keep everyone engaged and keep everyone focused when there isn't really ever a let-up? It's every week is 2 top 25, top 30 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that is the million-dollar question. Can anyone just put magic in a bottle and sprinkle it wherever you need it? And you say often that you might get 4 ranked teams in a row or something like that. We may not be highly ranked, everybody in our league, but top to bottom, it is just so difficult to beat anybody in this league. And so you just never have a let up. And obviously when we, started 0-3, 2 of those being from home losses, it just became very critical to play at a higher level. And now we've had two rounds of, a Friday, Sunday game. And I think our kids are starting to get in the hang of that. And I really do think it has a lot to do with what team does best, in preparation for that first game and then in recovery and coming back with the emotion that you need to play the second game of that weekend series. So I feel pretty good about our team in the sense that, it seems like we're a little bit more advanced than we were a year ago, a little bit more mature, a little bit more consistent. How we've practiced, how we've prepared, how we've handled success and failure. I mean, this team really has started to feel, again, like not too up and down and not too much of a roller coaster. So I'm going to count on that and hope for that and hope that we prepare the right way and get ready to face a great USC team.
Jamie, did you have any more questions for Coach? All right, we'll move on to Sam Taylor with the Daily Evergreen. Go ahead, Sam.
Thanks. Hi, Coach. How's it going?
Hi, Sam.
So I guess, there's a lot of fans are kind of concerned, or not really concerned, that they love how the team's doing, but, they have some complaints with the team not receiving any votes in the top 25. Is this a particular concern of your team, or is that just something that will come as a result of your progress?
Yeah, it is. It's not a concern at all. Again, I just think we've had, not great losses in certain times, but like right when we were probably going to start getting people's attention, we lost to Brigham Young, and then we started, getting a little bit ahead, and you lose to UW, and then you lose those 2 games at home. So I just don't think we've built enough momentum yet to sustained it, over the course of a few weeks, especially when you're trying to break into the top 25. But what a great opportunity now to, turn some heads and give ourselves a chance, because almost every weekend you're playing a top 10, top 15, or top 20 team. So if you can knock anyone off, you certainly are going to get some attention. USC's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. I mean, that's how good they are. They just beat the number 2 team in the country and held them to under 50 points. So, they deserve that kind of recognition. I think everybody in our league is playing at a high level. We've just got to worry about ourselves and not all that other stuff will take care of itself.
Awesome. Well, what does USC do really well? And I guess how do they manage to beat a number 2 team, and how do you plan to respond to that?
Gosh, it's still a work in progress. They have a long center. Rhea Marshall is maybe one of the best shot blockers in the country. So she, patrols the paint and she creates a lot of, I think people are worried or people are a little bit intimidated, not as aggressive against her. She forces whether she blocks a shot or not. I think she intimidates a lot of people. So, I think they guard the lane unbelievably well. Lindsay just has done a great job. Beth Burns took over while Lindsay was on having a baby, and both those guys have done an amazing job at just they run a lot of stuff from the NBA. With our time in the NBA, I think they scout a little bit like some teams do and some teams don't, but I think real personnel driven. So they're going to have us scouted and have a plan for every kid that we have. But their defense is really what just stands out, and it's a team defense. It's great athletes, but they're very committed to guarding you every single time up the floor. So it's hard to score points on them, and I think you saw what you saw with Stanford not getting to 50. So it's you just have to go into the game knowing that you've got to not have turnovers. You got to give yourself a chance, and you got to try to find 60 or 65 or 70 points out there to combat what they do.
And not to look too far ahead, but obviously UCLA looms just 2 days later. What kind of things do they do well? I know they have a scorer with 17 points per game and things like that, but what are you looking for with UCLA?
Yeah, UCLA just runs that just great motion offense. I think a little bit like us, lots of options, kind of, they screen and it's your job to read it the right way, and they can make cuts, and they have really, really good players and good IQ players that can, make the right reads and really hurt you in a lot of different ways. Charisma has killed us in years past, but these two teams are just so well coached and so fundamental, and they just don't beat themselves. They're going to guard you. They're just like USC and UCLA are very similar in that. They're going to rebound. They're going to punish you on the offensive glass if you don't box them out. So, again, I think the quality of our league and the best teams in our league, they can win a lot of different ways. And I think that's really true about UCLA. They can win, when it's low scoring, high scoring, defensive battles. They can put up a ton of points at times. They have a lot of weapons all over the floor. So very difficult, but, in a sense, very similar to, they're all both extremely athletic and they're going to guard you all over the court. So, I think that'll help us to have played at USC, and their pressure probably helps us get ready for what UCLA and their pressure will do to us as well.
Awesome. And do you expect Jessica Clark to have a similar role with 14 minutes or so?
Yeah, I'm excited for Jess. I think she just gave us great minutes, and I expect her to be in the rotation. She's different than Bella. Again, depth in this year's team just feels like we're at a different spot than we ever have been in the past. So I'm excited. I think AT will be 100%. I really feel like the depth of our team is going to help us in the long run, and getting people playing at such a high level behind our starters is going to be huge for us.
And Charlie Sledger-Walker obviously is an incredible player. Have you noticed any particular key changes or improvements or revelations in her game compared to previous years?
Well, I just think her outside shot got better, and her, she worked tirelessly this summer here when she was on campus at improving her 3-point shot. Again, if she can shoot it close to 35, 30, or close to 40, anywhere between that range, she becomes unguardable. She's put in so much time to be a better 3-point shooter. I think that's proven out so far this year. And I think she's just a special athlete, special player that can that has that mid-range game that so few women players have. Heck, men players too, but she's got that part of her game, and I think that got better. Her ability to stop on a dime and make really hard twos, her body control. I think those two elements, she took all these exact same shots a year ago or 2 years ago. It's just she's making all those shots at a higher clip, and I think that's just because she committed herself to being here and to work on her individual games and the things that she needed to do as an offensive player. Defensively, I think people are just now starting to realize she's always been really good defensively, and there's just not any holes to her game.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, Coach, that's all the time we have for this week. Best of luck this weekend against the Trojans and the Bruins. We'll talk to you after the game on Friday. Until then, go Cougs.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Go Cougs.